Hello and welcome everyone, my name is Maddles and this is another StarCraft 2 England cast. Now guys, today I've got a best of one game and it is on MLG Cloud Kingdom and it is between FXO TheoRy, the purple Protoss player in the lower left, and in the top right is Power, who is of course the teal Terran, and well, it's gonna be pretty awesome and their chat is quite amusing as well, and I always find it really annoying when players have amusing chat because it is just so distracting when you're trying to cast a game. But anyway, being a PvT, what can we expect from this game? Well, early game, gateway units, they're good. Like, late game, obviously, or rather mid game, we're going to see Marines more just medevacs with stim, wrecking everything. And then it's up to really the Protoss to get Colossi, High Templar, Storm, etc. to just try and wreck that infantry. But that's assuming that these two players want to stick to the standard and don't instead decide to go for some funky awesome build that I cannot even predict. And I always hope for those funky awesome builds because one, it gives all you guys loads of amusements of me being like, I have no clue what they're doing, and two, it means that it's exciting and slightly unpredictable, and that's always good fun. Now, basically Cloud Kingdom, the natural base isn't super easy to take or super hard. It's quite a big map, so it's not really one of the biggest. The rush distance isn't huge, but it's not too small either, so we'll wait and see how that all goes down. Obviously, I think the most likely opening we'll see from Power is you see a lot of Terrans really comfortable going for a 1-Rax command center build, unless they've got something very specifically otherwise they want to do. TheoRy, on the other hand, well, he's got lots of different options. You can do a 1-gate expand, you could do a 3-gate expand, you could do 4-gate pressure, you could do a 1-gate robo. There's lots of different modes, but judging by the fact there's no gas yet, I'm definitely thinking that the 1-gate expand is a very, very likely opening that we could be seeing. And again, the 1-Rax command center is also looking quite likely. We should see the orbital command start as soon as that SCV is finished producing. Obviously, that probe is coming in to check the gas timings. That's really its only purpose of being there. Here comes down the probe, so there we go. It's going to be a 1-gate expand, and I almost guarantee it's going to be a 1-Rax expand as well, judging by the amount of money sitting there. So both players really gearing up for the slightly later game. The SCV coming down there is going to try and get a quick hit off the Marine there as well, just to make sure that the SCV doesn't get killed by the probe or anything like that. So both these players being really quite defensive. The first gas coming down for TheoRy, that's a normal timing. You need the gas relatively quickly. We'll probably see from Power. Well, Power has two options following up from a 1-Rax expansion. You can get the double gas quite quickly to try and catch up in tech, or you can chuck down 2 racks and get a lot of Marines out for the early defense. Depends on what you've seen your opponent do, but judging by the fact that he's seen TheoRy go for this quick expansion, I reckon he's probably going to go for getting up the gas relatively soon. He's getting 1 more racks on there now, and I'm completely wrong, which is always fun. He's getting the double racks because it's fun being proved wrong by these programmers. They're always so good at it. Every time I try and predict something, they're just like, no, not going to do that. The second gas coming down for TheoRy though, so definitely going to tech up. He should start warp gate tech fairly soon. There we go, so bang. Meanwhile, the 1 Zealot out. Again, you can't really afford to skip that Zealot at this stage of the game, and especially when you're going for a risky opening. The double gas following this up, so Power there. Both players really just getting the gas, getting the tech, getting ready for mid-game. This is both these builds are. They're basically committing both players to sitting back and being like, no, I'm not going to come at you. I'm not going to attack or be aggressive in any way for probably about the next 3 minutes. So that is all fine. Both players are going to be pretty defensive. The tech lab coming down on the barracks there, that's most likely going to be used just for stim in order to try and get up that stim at the earliest possible opportunity. We've got, meanwhile, a reactor coming down on another one of those barracks, so going to just be chucking out lots and lots and lots of Marines and a couple of Marauders, get the stim down as well. Meanwhile, we've got a second tech lab coming down as well now, so 1 Marauder on its way already. Meanwhile, we've got the Zealot coming to poke up, but with the 3 Marines there, that Zealot's not going to have a fun time, and the bunker will be finished before the Stalker gets in. So, obviously, once that bunker's finished, that puts an end to that aggression, and it's not really aggression, it's just a bit of scouting with the option to do a tiny bit of harassment, should you want to, but to be honest, TheoRy, not going to be able to do anything now. We're going to pull back, play safe. Concussive Shell coming down. That's, again, something that quite a few Terran players like doing, is getting the Concussive Shell early because it's a quick upgrade. It only takes a minute to research. And it does allow you to pick off this Stalker and Zealot if they do get a bit over-aggressive. Meanwhile, Robotic Facility coming down. We've got another gateway being added on. 2 more gateways, actually. And, yeah, so pretty much standard out of TheoRy right now. Nothing too crazy, nothing too unusual, nothing unexpected, which, again, just means we're pretty safe, to be honest. And to be honest, this is probably going to be, I've been having a mass castathon today, so my voice is getting slightly tired, so I think I'm going to do, this will be my final game I cast today, unfortunately, sad face. But the good news is, and I'm going to do a bit of promotion for Multiplay, who of course do Insomnia, which is the biggest gaming festival in the UK, which hopefully I'll be casting the SC2 at Insomnia 47. I did 46, and yeah, they are doing a massive giveaway of Crisis 3 alpha keys, and I got one. Hooray! And it's just finished downloading as well, so I'm looking forward to go and play the alpha of Crisis 3 because that should be super good fun. But unfortunately I can't release any video of it because it's an alpha, it's a closed alpha. There's NDAs and things like that, which is sad times because I'd love to show you guys some Crisis 3. Anyway, looking across the map, what else have we got going down? We've got, of course, Stim, halfway done. A slight bit of aggression from the infantry here. We've got defensive position. They're coming to check for third base. There's not going to be one there though this time. The first Immortal coming out as well. That's going to help. Quantity's coming down the robotics bay. Obviously on its way. The Forge on its way. This is really Power just basically checking for a third base, picking it off if TheoRy are being greedy. So that's good play in itself there. Looking here, we've got the engineering bay coming down here. So with the +1 infantry weapons, we've got more barracks being added on here. Meanwhile, the reactor, starport coming down, they'll obviously switch. And again, we need to get scan off at some point to see that robotics bay, because really that is the important bit of scouting information, is because then of course you know the Colossus is coming out, and once you know the Colossus and Colossi on the field, well, and then you start getting Vikings in order to deal with those. That's just what you do as Terran, and it works very, very well indeed. Now, looking up here for Power, he's in a good spot. He's keeping up with the upgrades. The reason you're seeing Power get the +1 Terran infantry weapons is because Marines are the main damage dealers of this force. They have obviously a very fast attack speed, which means they benefit a lot from getting 1 extra damage per attack. Whereas TheoRy is getting the +1 armor because obviously his units are up against a fast attacking enemy unit, which means that they gain a lot of extra survivability from having 1 less damage per hit. So that's why you're seeing that choice, and it's always going to be that way in this matchup, just in terms of the choices of things they go. TheoRy getting down a proxy pylon. That would be nice to try and pick off that base when it does throw down. We've got a second engineering bay as well as the armory, so double upgrades will start shortly. Meanwhile, obviously, we're just getting the single upgrades here at the moment. We've got the Templar archives coming down as well, so we've got just the 1 Colossus at the moment, which I quite like. I don't think really you want to get about 3 Colossus and that's it in this matchup. Then start getting the High Templar out, because the Storm is the real burst damage you need, and if you do have High Templar and also the Colossus, it becomes a lot more difficult for the Terran to just flat out counter it, and they start to have to really think about what their unit composition is going to be, how many Ghosts they're going to get, how many Vikings, and especially if they see a Colossus early on. A lot of Terran players, especially in just the normal ladders and stuff, I'm not talking top end play, can panic to that and will, as a result, start mass producing Vikings. Now, as you can see here, already we're seeing Power get the +1 ship weapons. He's probably going to start pumping out quite a few more Vikings, and I mean, he doesn't have any on the field yet, but he will start pumping them out. And of course, they're up against what is 1 at the moment. We've got a nice little double drop here coming in. That's doing some good damage, and Archon Wolfing does get picked off, and well, this is doing some actually really quite surprisingly good damage, and does manage to get away quite a few of these units. One of those medebacks, though, is about to go down. He's being very, very careful, gets away with just 18 health. Needs to be exceptionally wary right now. But as you can see, that did some good damage. Didn't get any workers, but again, in terms of the resources lost, it came out quite well. The rest of those units dropping down, they can just try and do some damage to basically anything they can get their tiny little guns on. And well, it's working quite well. They're picking up some Stalkers, it's all fine. And there's of course that Colossus there, which can be doing a bit of pain in neck damage, but well, at the moment this infantry doing good little bits of damage, getting quite a couple of kills. All of those units were out of the way. Sees a lot of the tech. I don't know how much of the tech was actually revealed there. Sees the Templar, sees the Twilight Council, but not the Templar archives. That's good. And of course, there is still just that 1 Colossus on the field. Viking production really ramping up. We've got warping of units here. We've got the first 2 Vikings coming down. Of course, the 1-2 upgrades, the 2-1 rather upgrades coming down for the Terran infantry, as well as the +2 Protoss ground armor, and the second Forge is getting started now. These Zealot counterattack really working nicely. Charge is done, of course, for these Zealots, so they're a lot quicker. They are able to pick off things quite nicely. They're great against Marines as well now, and obviously they get a couple of kills. It's only 4, but it's better than none. It's nice. It's again delaying quite a lot of mining time here. It also forced all the mules back, which again that loses an awful lot of mining time out of them. A planetary fortress coming down at the 3rd here. That's the right choice in my opinion. Looking around the rest of the map, we've got the 2nd starport coming down. So Obviously, you've got another reactor. This is really trying to ramp up the Viking production, and this is what I mean. Terran players are very easy to overcommit to getting a lot of Vikings out, which basically means that if you've only got the one Colossus, they've then got a lot of units which are effectively useless, and then you can get more supply which is able to just crush them in the end. And Terran just seem very, very keen to do that. The Ghost Academy is on the way out though, so that's fine. Now we'll start help dealing with these High Templar and Archons, obviously, with the snipe and EMP hits. But for the moment, I'd say TheoRy's in a comfortable spot. His third base is up, it's secured. So's Powers though, so they're both in a pretty equal spot. What's the work count like? Wow. A lot more workers for TheoRy right now, like an awful lot. That'll actually put him in the lead, even when you count for the effect of those awesome mules. So that is a good position for the Protoss player. Now, we've got a bit of engagement coming in here. The Vikings are there. The Colossus is taking some damage and will get picked off, but of course, now the Vikings are completely useless. The Storms start coming down as well, and this is a great push forward. The Vikings being forced to land, but Zealots coming in from behind could get the surround needed, and yeah, this is, well, clearing everything else quite nicely. And as you can see, for the moment, TheoRy being forced to pull back, Power in just a great spot. He's pushing forward. He's got that forward pylon, getting some more units warping in there. But what's this? Is this going to be a little counterattack? That could be very, very potent indeed. We've got some Marauders getting picked off for the moment. We've got another Colossus in production, so obviously that's going to help. We've got these units warping in here. We should see a good storm come down, to be honest, if there's enough energy. There's not quite enough there, though, so those High Templar getting picked off. Great little stutter step micro coming in from the infantry here as well, picking off all of those Zealots, not engaging that well. Really, really nice here indeed. More Zealots warping in, but this counterattack by Power, absolutely brilliant. Spreading those units out, doing so much damage, engaging so cost effectively, but most importantly, forcing TheoRy to bring back the majority of his army. Another stim goes down, of course, with no medevac support though. That does hurt those units an awful lot. A couple more High Templar warping in there as well. Now, looking here, we've got Power. He really held off a push that he wasn't in a good position to deal with by that counterattack, so that was really, really nice play. Meanwhile, TheoRy getting up his fourth base, he's doing everything right now. Now it's a case of how to play catch up in terms of the army count, the also base count. He's behind in both the worker count, bases, army supply, and upgrade wise, he's, I believe, pretty much level at the moment. We do of course have the 3-1 upgrades about to finish up for TheoRy, so that will put him slightly ahead, or at least equal. But the +3 Terran infantry weapons coming down now. So obviously this counter push could be pretty strong. We've got one High Templar coming up. Gets a nice storm off, and obviously that's always good when you get nice little storms off like that. And well, here we go with the rest of the push coming up. We've got another good storm coming off. That finishes off an awful lot of infantry. And well, TheoRy is pushing full power. Is going to start struggling to deal with this. We've got the Zealots just charging all the way up. But again, engaging the choke is exactly where you want to be. Those Archons don't have the range to really engage that effectively. And we do see TheoRy pulling back now, which is really the right thing to do. Don't overcommit to pushes. If you know you've done good damage, pull back. And in terms of the loss tab, these two players surprisingly well mapped. There's only, what, 300 resources loss difference between them, which at 18 minutes into the game is basically negligible. So yeah, this is really, really close. The only key difference so far is this fourth base, which will just be so potent, and also the map dominance really from TheoRy. I mean, if we look at the vision of these two players, this is what TheoRy sees on the map. Everything. That is what Power sees, and this is a big difference in terms of the vision. If you imagine you're in each player's position, which are you going to be more comfortable in? No matter what league you're in, you're going to be a lot more comfortable in TheoRy's position when you can see everything, and you just know when drops coming in, you know when potential damage is coming in, army movements, etc. Because basically at the moment TheoRy knows he's completely safe because he's got all of these units spread out for the good scouting information. He knows that his opponent isn't pushing forward, so he's comfortable. He doesn't have to worry about any attacks, any drops or anything like that, whereas Power has no clue what his opponent is doing for the moment. And obviously TheoRy now sees this entire force moving out, and he can start preparing his army and positioning his army to deal with that. And the two Colossus out on the field are good. How many High Templar are out at the moment? Only the 4, so that's again 4 Storms, and with those 2 Colossi and a lot of Archons are going to be really quite difficult to deal with. The Ghost numbers are not that high, only 7 Ghosts on the field now. There's 8 up now, but obviously they're not going to be super helpful. A couple of Zealots warp in, a bit prematurely unfortunately though, and do basically reveal where that pylon is, and it gets knocked out very soon. But a nice thought process by TheoRy. TheoRy is also up to those 3-1 upgrades compared to, of course, the 3-2. So the upgrade advantage there for Power at the moment. The Vikings also upgraded to +1 attack, +3 turn infantry armor on its way down now, personal cloaking on its way, +2 ship weapons about to finish up as well for the Terran, +2 Protoss ground weapons just finished up as well now for TheoRy. So he's catching up in terms of the upgrade count. A good storm goes off, that does some nice damage. A couple of units getting caught off guard, but of course does give away some information of where the Terran army is. A good scan comes off, just sees the pre-spread of units, which you should always be doing. Always be looking that if you know an engagement's coming up, spread your units out first. It's always the best thing to do. There are a couple of snipes coming down. Obviously, the snipes going to be targeting the High Templar and the Archons because they are psionic and take bonus damage from it. Ultimately, this is now we're getting into that kind of late game stalemate situation where neither player really wants to engage because one bad engagement can literally cost you the game. But again, it's always worse for the aggressor. But here we see TheoRy going with a very, very nice angle. This is going to be a very, very big engagement. EMPs going off absolutely everywhere. And it looks like Power is absolutely crushing this force with great EMPs and snipes. And wow! He literally just evaporated that army nearly instantaneously. He's going to pick off the 4th base, which is an absolutely massive win. And to be honest, he's got the momentum to carry on should he want to. He's dodging some more storms, but he's doing precisely what I think, getting lots of probes picked up, and got an absolutely astounding supply lead. And I'm really quite shocked, actually, that he chose to pull back there, because there's being safe and then there's just going for an opportunity. When you crushed your opponent's army so cost-effectively, 8,000 more resources lost by TheoRy compared to Power, and that was really from that engagement as Storm misses the boat completely. And well, here we go, we've got that infantry still doing so much damage. Those upgrades helping so much. The Vikings picking off the final Colossus. We do have more EMPs going down, a couple of feedbacks, but for the moment the reinforcing Marines coming in and they are able to pick up everything, and this should probably be GG right now because TheoRy, he just has no army supply left at all. He's just got a handful of zealots, which this force is going to be able to clean up so well. A couple of feedbacks went down on the medevacks though, so they're going to struggle to heal it all up. Vikings even landing to get in on this, and now nearly 100 supply ahead of his opponent. Power should be able to just push through and win this game, and now obviously the production facility is getting hurt now as well, which is never going to be too fun. The Vikings relifting, and well, the infantry is just going to be able to go to town. The reinforcements coming in. There's one High Templar coming from behind though, which might get a couple of kills, get some feedbacks as well. Tries to prevent those medevacks from healing up, so again, this force might be stopped, but look at this next force coming in. That is an awful lot of stuff, and of course all the Vikings remain, so that really puts an end to any form of harassment in terms of the Colossus, because again, you'll never get a count out high enough or be able to deal with those Vikings quickly enough. A massive supply lead here for Power at the moment, who is apparently just floating this command center around because there's a zealot there and just doesn't know where to go. Looking here though, again, this 4th base isn't going to come down for a long time. It's really going to put problems on TheoRy because his income is going to be hurt so much. As you can see here, TheoRy's still producing a bit more, but not by much. We do have great aggression coming in. The Vikings all landing down as well, trying to do some more damage. The infantry doing huge damage. The medevac's in there as well, helping massively, and Power is just still pushing forward with this. The Terran player in an absolutely fantastic position. Started step micro back, picking off the last few units, and yet again, the army supply for TheoRy is pretty much gone. These few remaining warp gates are going to get picked up at the 3rd, and then the 3rd base itself going to go down. And of course, this is preventing the resupplies. The Dark Shrine is coming down because, again, when behind Dark Shrine is your only real option. But I think it's all too late, and to be honest, I expect to see a GG shortly, especially after that 3rd base goes. Some good storms, and well, TheoRy's holding on for the moment, but it is holding on. It's really delaying the inevitable. If TheoRy managed to come back from this, I'd be absolutely astounded, but I think this next wave of reinforcements is pretty much going to be the end. The medevac's need to be careful though. They all get feedback, apart from 3 managed to avoid it. And these probes, long distance mining, there's going to be so many probe kills right now. That's absolutely devastating, but as you can see, this Protoss player is doing everything he can, trying to win this still. Storms going off everywhere, but the infantry getting split, some Archons morphing in, but it's too much damage right now. And while Power's supply is whittling down, he's got his own 4th base up now. So basically he's on 2 mining bases compared to what is, well, half a mining base for TheoRy. So this is just an amazing position to be in. So many probes getting picked up. If we look at the worker count now, 31 to 62, it's all over. And there is the GG. And Power played incredibly well there. That was a really nice play. That one engagement by the 4th completely decided it. Anyway guys, thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy, then please subscribe. I get new games updated. Leave a cool comment, and well, yeah, like the video, that'd be awesome. And I'll see you tomorrow for yet another new game. Bye for now, guys.